Have you ever wondered how the Israel-Palestine conflict, one of the most enduring and contentious disputes of our time, actually began? To understand the present, we must delve into the past. Let's trace back to the late 19th century, a period marked by the rise of two potent movements, Zionism and Arab nationalism. Zionism, the Jewish national movement, sought a homeland for the Jewish people, particularly in what was then known as Palestine. Simultaneously, Arab nationalism was burgeoning, fostering a sense of unity and independence among Arab peoples, including the Arabs residing in Palestine. Fast forward to the year 1917, when the British government issued the Balfour Declaration, expressing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This was followed by the British Mandate in Palestine, which saw Britain assuming control over the region. During this period, there was a significant increase in Jewish immigration, largely driven by persecution in Europe. This influx stoked tensions between the Jewish immigrants and the Arab Palestinians, culminating in the United Nations Partition Plan of 1947, which proposed splitting Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. Despite the UN's attempt to create separate Israeli and Palestinian states, the plan was rejected by Palestinian and Arab leaders, leading to the First Arab-Israeli War in 1948. The road to the present conflict is paved with a series of significant events that have escalated tensions and reshaped the political landscape. An understanding of these turning points is crucial to grasp the intricacies of the Israel-Palestine conflict. The Six-Day War of 1967 marked a significant shift as Israel seized control of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. This occupation has been a source of conflict and contention ever since, with Palestinians living under Israeli military rule and Israeli settlers moving into Palestinian territories. The late 1980s saw the eruption of the First Intifada, a Palestinian uprising against Israeli occupation. This period of civil unrest brought the conflict to the world's attention, highlighting the desperate plight of Palestinians living under occupation. The early 90s brought a glimmer of hope with the Oslo Accords. These agreements, signed between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization, marked the first time both parties officially recognized each other. However, the accords fell short of establishing a Palestinian state, leaving many issues unresolved. The Second Intifada erupted in the year 2000, following the failure of the Camp David summit to reach a final agreement on the peace process. This uprising was marked by an intense wave of violence, further deepening the divide between Israelis and Palestinians. The rise of Hamas, a militant group with a charter committed to Israel's destruction, has further complicated the conflict. Hamas's control over the Gaza Strip and its ongoing clashes with Israeli forces have added another layer of volatility to the situation. The year 2000 marked another significant event, the failure of the Camp David summit. The inability of both sides to reach a peace agreement despite international mediation highlighted the deep-seated mistrust and the complexity of the issues at hand. Each of these events has deepened the divide, fueled mistrust, and left a lasting impact on the Israel-Palestine conflict. They serve as stark reminders of a history marked by missed opportunities for peace and the urgent need for a resolution that respects the rights and aspirations of all people involved. In the present day, the conflict continues to be a complex issue, with peace seeming elusive. The political landscape is a shifting tapestry, with figures like Benjamin Netanyahu potentially returning to power, a development that has been met with trepidation by Palestinians. Jerusalem remains at the heart of the struggle, a city of immense religious significance to both sides. For Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike, it's a sacred ground, a cradle of faith, and a symbol of their national aspirations. But the city is also a tinderbox of tension, particularly over the status of the Haram al-Sharif compound that houses the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the third holiest site in Islam. Netanyahu's possible alliance with ultranationalist figures has sparked fears of increased hostility towards Palestinians and more extreme occupation measures. Yet, it's important to remember that many Palestinians see no difference between Netanyahu and other Israeli politicians in their policies towards Palestinians. The peace process and the Palestinian Authority may suffer if Netanyahu returns to power, but the struggle for peace and justice will continue. The status quo of Jerusalem's holy sites is a particularly sensitive issue. Jordan, as the custodian of these sites since 1924, has expressed concerns about potential changes. The country sees itself as the guarantor of the religious rights of Muslims and Christians in the city, and has warned of red lines that, if crossed, could lead to conflict. So, what is the way forward? Some propose a two-state solution with an independent Palestine living side by side with Israel. Others suggest a one-state solution where Israelis and Palestinians share a single democratic state. Yet each proposal has its challenges and detractors, and no solution has been universally accepted. While the path to peace remains uncertain, understanding the history and complexities of the Israel-Palestine conflict can help us appreciate the significance of every step taken towards resolution.